The eighth presentation from the January 6th committee was all about showing the people that Trump was responsible for what happened at the Capitol on January 6th. Trump's dereliction of duty, meaning he didn't do his job and he violated his oath of office. Two committee members who are both veterans but from different parties led this hearing. Representative Elaine Luria, a Democrat from Virginia, and Representative Adam Kinzinger, a Republican from Illinois. 187 minutes. Over 3 hours went by between the end of Trump's speech at the Ellipse, which is when he told his followers to march on the Capitol, and the time when he finally told them to go home. By then, the Capitol was already under siege. Listen to this. Within 15 minutes of leaving the stage, Trump was told that the Capitol was under attack. 15 minutes. And remember, the White House knew from earlier that morning, before Trump gave the speech, that some of the rioters were armed. We learned about this from White House senior aide Cassidy Hutchinson, who testified in the 6th public hearing. Now, let me say this in the words of Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Trump did not fail to act. He chose not to act.
What explains President Trump's behavior? Why did he not take immediate action in a time of crisis? Because President Trump's plan for January 6th was to halt or delay Congress's official proceeding to count the votes. The mob attacking the Capitol quickly caused the evacuation of both the House and the Senate. The count ground to an absolute halt and was ultimately delayed for hours. The mob was accomplishing President Trump's purpose, so of course he didn't intervene. Here's what will be clear by the end of this hearing. President Trump did not fail to act during the 187 minutes between leaving the Ellipse and telling the mob to go home. He chose not to act. But there were hundreds that day who honored their oaths and put their lives on the line to protect the people inside the Capitol and to safeguard our democracy. Many of them are here tonight with us, and many more are watching from home.
You want to know what else he didn't do? Trump didn't call the vice president, didn't call senior law enforcement officials. He didn't call military leaders or DC government officials. Nada. Zero. What was he doing? He was watching coverage of the Capitol riot on Fox News in the White House dining room. There are no official records of what Trump did while in the dining room. The call logs are blank, but we know he talked to people over the phone because that's been fully documented. The presidential diary is also blank. Even the chief White House photographer who wanted to take pictures because it was a very important day for Trump's archives and for history was told no photographs. But we know he did talk to his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and he talked to several senators to try to get them to slow down the counting of the electoral votes. So let me repeat what I said earlier. Trump chose not to act because the armed mob was doing exactly what he wanted, delaying the electoral count.
Virtually everyone told President Trump to condemn the violence in clear and unmistakable terms. And those on Capitol Hill and across the nation begged President Trump to help. But the former president chose not to do what all of those people begged. He refused to tell the mob to leave until 4:17, when he tweeted out a video statement filmed in the Rose Garden, ending with this.
So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
At 1:49 p.m., he tweeted out a link to his speech at the Ellipse. And at the same time, police were declaring a riot at the Capitol. But we all know that 35 minutes later, at 2:24, he made things worse. He sent out his famous tweet accusing Pence of being a coward, which was like pouring gasoline on the fire. We know that that tweet led to an escalation in the violence. Vice President Mike Pence was at the Capitol and at 2:26 had to be evacuated to a secure location. And during this hearing, we heard testimony from a witness that said that things were getting so dangerous that Secret Service agents assigned to Pence's detail were calling to say goodbye to their families.
The members of the VP detail at this time were starting to fear for their own lives. There were a lot of There was a lot of yelling, a lot of very personal calls over the radio. So it was disturbing. I don't like talking about it, but there were calls to say goodbye to family members, so on and so forth. It was getting, for whatever the reason was on the ground, the VP detail thought that this was about to get very ugly.
The witnesses for this presentation were two Trump supporters, former Deputy National Security Advisor Matthew Pottinger and former Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthews. Both of them thought that Trump's 224 tweet was so offensive that they resigned that day. Trump's advisors told him to call off his supporters. So at 2:38 p.m., he tweeted, "Please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful." But rioters noted that he told them only to respect the police, not the lawmakers, and that he did not tell them to go home. At that point, lawmakers were hiding in the House chamber with gas masks.
CNN just said that they evacuated all members of Congress into a safety room.
There's no safe place in the United States for any of these motherfuckers right now, let me tell you.
I hope they understand that we are not joking around.
Military Principle 105. Military Principle 105. Cave means grave.
Trump just tweeted, "Please support our Capitol Police. They are on our side. Do not harm them."
That's saying a lot by what he didn't say. He didn't say not to do anything to the congressman.
Well, he did not ask them to stand down. He just said, stand by the Capitol Police. They are on our side, and they are good people. So it's getting real down there. I got it on TV, and it's looking pretty friggin' radical to me. CNN said that Trump has egged this on, that he is egging it on, and that he is watching the country burn 2 weeks before he leaves office. He is not leaving office. I don't give a shit what they say.
We are in the mezzanine. We are in the main dome right now. We are rocking it. They're throwing grenades. They're freaking shooting people with paintballs, but we're in here.
Be safe, be safe. God bless and Godspeed, and keep going.
Get it, Jess. Do your shit. This is what we fucking lived up for. Everything we fucking trained for.
Took over the Capitol, overran the Capitol.
We're in the fucking Capitol, bro.
But we know things didn't slow down. People were begging him to tell the rioters to go home. Advisors, members of Congress, media personalities, his own family even. But he refused. Watch this clip from White House counsel Pat Cipollone. The way he answers Liz Cheney's question says a lot.
No, I believe more needed to be done. Okay. I believed that a public statement needed to be made.
When you talk about others on the staff thinking more should be done or thinking that the president needed to tell people to go home, who would you put in that category?
Well, I would put Pat Philbin, Eric Hirschman, overall Mark Meadows, Ivanka. Once Jared got there, Jared, General Kellogg. I'm probably missing some, but those. Kaylee, I think, was there, but I don't. Dan Scavino.
And who on the staff did not want people to leave the Capitol?
On the staff?
In the White House, how about?
I can't think of anybody, on that day who didn't want people to get out of the Capitol once particularly once the violence started. No. I mean,
what about the president?
Yeah.
She said the staff. So I answered.
No, I said in the White House.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you said who else on the staff. I can't reveal communications, but obviously I think,
Trump finally released a video at 4:17 p.m. telling the mob to go home. But he also told them, "We love you. You're very special." It's important to mention that the committee showed that he released that video only after law enforcement had been deployed and had gained control of the Capitol, making it clear that the violent insurrection would not succeed. As soon as Trump told the mob to go home, they obeyed. One rioter even said, "That's an order." The violence continued a while longer, and at 6:01 p.m., Trump tweeted that the attackers were great patriots.
Well, when we were there, as soon as that come out, everybody started talking about it, and it seemed like it started to disperse, some of the crowd.
I'm here delivering the president's message. Donald Trump has asked everybody to go home. That's our order.
He says go home. He says go home.
Yeah, he said to go home.
And while Trump refused to behave like the president, the committee showed video footage of Senators Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer trying to resume the joint session of Congress to count the electoral votes.
We're not going to let these people keep us from finishing our business. So we need you to get the building cleared, give us the okay so we can go back in session and finish up the people's business as soon as possible.
Mr. Secretary, it's Senator Schumer. Some people here in the Capitol Police believe it would take us several days to secure the building. Do you agree with that analysis?
I'm not on the ground, but I do not agree with that analysis.
So what is the earliest that we could safely resume our proceedings in the Senate and House chambers? The earliest we could safely resume.
Also, while Trump refused to act, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, told the committee that Vice President Mike Pence was issuing orders to the acting Secretary of Defense, Christopher Miller. So everyone's question here should be, why are these people following Vice President Pence's orders if he's not the commander-in-chief?
Vice President Pence, there were 2 or 3 calls with Vice President Pence. He was very animated, and he issued very explicit, very direct, unambiguous orders. There was no question about that, and he was, and I can get you the exact quotes, I guess, from some of our records somewhere. But he was very animated, very direct, very firm.
On January 7th, members of Trump's cabinet were considering invoking the 25th Amendment to the Constitution and removing him from office. That's when Trump released a 3-minute video saying that he was outraged by the violence, and he also said that anyone who had broken the law would be prosecuted. But the committee has the unedited version of the video. And we got to see the outtakes that show Ivanka, Trump's daughter, telling him what to say, and the former president unwilling to admit that he'd lost the election. Watch this.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. You do not represent our movement. You do not represent our country. And if you broke the law, you can't say that. I already said you will pay. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defied the seat of justice. It's defiled, right? See, I can't see it very well. Okay, I'll do this. I'm going to do this. Let's go. But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over, okay?
But Congress is certified. Now Congress is
Yeah,
certified.
right.
Now Congress
I didn't say over, so let me see. Go to the paragraph before. Okay? I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. Yesterday is a hard word for me.
Just take it out. The heinous attack.
Good. Take the word yesterday, because it doesn't work with the heinous attack on our country. Say on our country. Want to say that?
No, keep it.
My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote.
Several sources say that it took Trump about an hour to record that 3-minute video. He still will not admit that he lost the election. He continues to lie and says that he won, and that behavior is a threat to our democracy. I want to mention one more thing about this hearing that the host of NPR's Weekend Edition brought to our attention. The committee's chair, Benny Thompson, was isolating because of COVID. So the vice chair, Liz Cheney, presided over the hearing. That means that the Democratic chair of the committee turned over the running of this hearing to the Republican vice chair. They spoke with mutual trust and respect, and that was beautiful to see. If you have missed any of the hearings and want to catch up, check out this playlist right here. But before we do that, I'll leave you with one more amazing Liz Cheney moment.
Doors have opened, new subpoenas have been issued, and the dam has begun to break.
If this content was valuable, I would love it if you gave me a thumbs up and maybe shared it with others. And don't forget that we can help save our democracy in the November midterms this year. Double check your voter registration at vote.org and vote in this and every election. I love breaking down what's going on in US politics. You can also follow me for a little bit more. I love breaking down what's going on in US politics in a way that doesn't feel completely overwhelming. I'm also very active on Instagram, so check out the link below to follow me over there.